Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with episode 4 of our page idea series. And we're going to be making this, again, a signature page spread with these tall, skinny pockets. So they're kind of like I don't know what you call this kind of pocket. It's like they have a name. You guys probably know what they're called. I don't do them very often, but I'm going to do them with you today. So this is my prototype, or my template basically, which I'm going to start trying to do for my videos, at least for the page series, because then you guys can actually look at this and go, oh, these are the dimensions that Renee used, and then you can follow along. So this small little pocket measures 2.5 by 4 3/4, and then I scored it 3/8 of an inch across the whole top, which will make more sense when we actually do it. And then this one is 7 by 2.5, 7 by 2.5 with the same score line specifications. And then this one flips out, this one flips down, this one flips up. We're doing the one I'm doing on camera a little bit different, but I did make an official prototype as well. But I thought I would also show you this. So this was my kind of a template as well when I was trying to figure out the dimensions and how to fold it and all of that. So basically what we have is we've got 1/4 of an inch fold over flap here that's going to help us close this. So it's 2.5 inches from here to here, 2.5 inches from here to here, and then the 1/4 inch flap. And then this is the 3/8 inch bit that's on the top, and this is the part that's actually going to fold over so that we get our flip. Okay, this is not folded correctly, so it's a little bit bunched up, but you get the idea. And then the same is true, just a different size for that. So this one's the 7 by 2.5 inch pocket, and it's scored at 3/8 of an inch all the way across the top, but we will go through that together. This was my pretty prototype. This is some new paper. You guys, I cannot say no to boho paper. I am just having such a blast with it. And I think what I love about this project so much is that I feel like I can get out of that matchy-matchy mindset that I have. I'm a very, very matchy-matchy person. I'm a very, I'm just a very succinct kind of, this is how I do things, this is how I like things. And so it's really hard for me to step out of that comfort zone. But this Boho Journal has really helped me to embrace a lot of different kinds of images, different tones, different color patterns. We've got purples, we've got the oranges, we've got the pinks, the really bright fuchsias in the journal. And so I got this kit. This is from Wild Rose Bohemian as well, and I will link it. But this one actually has 2 envelopes. So it's got 2 small ones that flip out and then 2 that flip up. Now, the only thing I did not like about this is I don't like that. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to glue those instead to the actual journal page. So this is the journal page. And then this is, let me get you a full view of the image. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So we're going to do that part a little bit differently by tucking this flap under here instead of under the previous envelope, or the envelope that's on top of it. And I built it so that I would have room to have a tag stick out and have a whale tail tab on there, both on the small ones as well as the big ones. Now I often like my openings to be at the bottom. I've done that a lot in my journals, and I think it's very unique. So we're going to do this today. So the journal pages, as I've mentioned before, my journal pages, just because I have to cut the white off of the border around all of my prints, I end up with a 5 1/4 by 8 1/4 when I'm done. So that's always the size that I'm working with. So I'm going to set that aside, and we are going to be working with the beautiful, beautiful papers for the Romance in Paris journal. So this is going to be a quick video. I'm going to only show you the construction of it because it is a little bit complex. I will decorate it off camera. I will put tags and journal cards in the pockets, and you'll be able to see all of that in the photos at the end of the video. So let's get going. I've got my circle punch to do my little divot. I've got my scissors, a variety. I found that my fussy cut scissors worked really well for a part of it. My long scissors work good. Pencil, ruler. I'm just using my Barely Arts because there's very, very little gluing in this project. And my, sorry, that's off camera, my archival ink, vintage photo archival ink. I feel like the camera is really, really low. So let me move that up a little bit. There we go. Is that better? Yes. Thank you. Okay, and I rediscovered this scoreboard after giving some thought to some comments that I've had from people about scoring, and I have a hard time with it, but I just rediscovered this. I had stuck it in my closet when I got my Fiskars Precision Trimmer, and it's awesome because it's got the score tool and the cutter. And so I think I'm going to really enjoy using that in this project. I'm going to move up a bit more, guys. I don't want to go too far up though, because then I show everything else. Yeah. Let's just do that. So unfortunately, you may not see everything in camera because my area is very small. So I've already cut this paper down. Well, I cut the white border off, excuse me. So let's start with that. We're going to just fold this in half. I just used the beautiful tea stain paper from Ruby and Pearl. This is from her beautiful birds kit. It's a page that I use a lot for backing my digitals, and I really, really enjoy it. So just going to give that a good crease. My trimmer is here off to the right, so I will have to trim this to 5 1/4 because it doesn't quite measure 5 1/4. It's like 5 3/8, and I just take it down to 5 1/4. So I'm just going to turn and do that really quick. It's just literally like 1/8 of an inch. So isn't that girl just so pretty? So pretty. So that is our base. That's our journal page that we're going to be working on. So I'm just going to set that aside. These are the two pieces of paper I decided to use for the small ones that go this way. Okay, so we'll set those aside. We'll do those in a moment. And then these are the big ones. So these are for the big envelopes. And I'm hoping that I can make these work. Sometimes my brain doesn't work well with folding and stuff. Excuse me. Because I don't want to lose this part of the image. So I'm hoping that I can capture most of that by scoring on this side. So what I'm going to do, what I found really helpful, is I first make my pencil marks, just a tick mark, and then I go from there. So I want to turn this over, but I want that to be my, so I'm going to measure from this side. I'm hoping that I'm thinking about this correctly. So I'm going to go 2.5 inches from this edge, and I'm going to make a pencil mark. Okay, right. I'm going to move that up a little bit. It is Friday night, and I was just in here dreaming about this project, and I thought I'm going to go ahead and do it tonight while it's fresh on my mind. So then I'm moving. I like to move my ruler rather than go out 5 inches. It's just my thing. You guys don't have to do that. You could go 2.5 and then go out to the 5-inch mark, but I just moved it, and then I'm going to make a mark here, and then that leaves me my 1/4 inch on the side for my yeah, what do you call that? Your hinge, kind of a hinge. So yes, because this is just the right size. So the other papers I were using were whole page designs. These are actual journal pages. So I had to make sure that these two came together. So I just had to make sure that I had the right width to continue on with what I wanted to do. So I'm going to move that ink and move some things. We're going to bring the score tool over, and I don't even have to open up that thing, and I'm hoping you guys can see okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just making sure that I've got that Yeah, because I don't want to remove much on this side. So this is where my my little score line will go for the 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to put that in here, and my mark is down here on the bottom. But what I forgot about this is that I want to show you this. This is amazing. See how my tick mark is right in that valley of the scoreboard, and that's what I have trouble with. Without that, I can't line it up. I just can't do it. It's just not a strength for me. So I'm going to go ahead and score that. We'll be checking the height in a minute, but we're going to do the scoring first. And then we're going to score at the next tick mark. I'm going to turn it because I like to have it on the top whenever possible. So let me move that back down. I'm going to do that second score line. Make sure you don't use the cutter. The orange one is the cutter. Okay, so that's that. And so now let's go ahead and fold this, and then yeah, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. We cut off a little bit of the beautiful lady, but I think it'll be okay. A lot more than I wanted to, but you know, it's going to be all right. So that's that. So you basically get this kind of effect. So now we want to check our height, because we want to make sure it's not as tall as the journal page, because then nothing can stick out. See how that's the same height? So we're going to have to knock something off. So before we score at the top for our hinge that's going to go over the page, or going to tuck under, I'm going to take a little bit off of the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to turn to my cutter and do that really quick. I went ahead and cut this at 7 3/4 from top to bottom, because we are going to actually lose a little bit for our our hinge that's going to go over the top. I'm so sorry, you guys. That's terrible, terrible brain. And we've got a little bit of an edge hanging over here. I'm not sure why that is, so I'm just going to trim that really quick. I've just got this little bit of an edge overhang, and I don't want that to be there. So be careful that you don't cut this open. I'm just gonna, wait, what happened there? It's like crooked. That's okay. That's okay. Let's just finish here. Hopefully I don't wreck it. It's you know, it's an after work day, so there we go. Okay. Oh, I almost, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. That's my little, it's not a hinge, it's the gusset. It's going to make the pocket not be so tight. That's what I meant. You guys are probably saying, gusset, Cara-Renee, gusset. So that's what we have. So now the other thing we want to decide is which way we want this to go. So the ones on my prototype, I had the opening going at the bottom, but I'm thinking that I want it to be at the top on this one because of that area that we've got to do that with. So that means so let's punch this so that we know that that's what we're doing and we don't get confused. So I'm just going to use my 1.5 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to make a divot. I'm not making a very big one, just enough to make it look like there's something that's going to slide in there. Perfect. So then that means once you've determined which direction you want it to go, then you're going to score at the bottom of the whole edge 3/8 of an inch. Now I can't follow on the on that thing. I have to make marks, so bear with me. So I'm going to make a mark at the 3/8 inch line, and we're going to go ahead and bring the scoreboard back over and score that. We'll go through this one more time. Well, we'll go through it 3 times in total, but I won't, I'll speed up some of it. So again, scoring, okay. And you can, of course, decide how tall you want yours to be, okay. So now that we have that, you want to be thinking still again which way this is folding. These are hard for me, so if I'm being too simplistic, forgive me. So that's that. So then we want this panel right here to be our hinge on the bottom of the page. And so I can cut off this corner. I'm going to turn it over just so I can see it a little bit better. And this is where the fussy cut scissors were helpful. So I'm just going to cut off that little corner. So we don't need that. Okay. Oh, a little bit further down, Cara-Renee. Goodness gracious. Okay, and so now I know that's my hinge. So now I can cut off this whole section from here over and from here down. I hope that's just clear as mud. Clear as mud on a rainy day. The rain is coming in here. We've had a beautiful week of weather here in Washington State. We were able to have recess outside with our special ed kids all week long, which was so good. And now we're going to be hitting the rain. So that means we can't go out on the big recess, but big playground. Okay, so that's that. So then this is going to, when we glue it on, this is going to glue to the inside of the journal page. So now what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and glue it. And I'll do all of my inking at the same time. So we'll make all of the pockets and then we'll ink and then we'll attach. So just going to glue this shut. I'm just using the white glue because, I mean, in this very simple project. Now, if you were making an actual pocket, you'd actually tuck this up. But because we're using that as a flap or a hinge, we don't need to do that. Okay, there we go. That is beautiful. Ooh, I love it. All right, so let's set that one aside and do this one. So same process. This one I don't have to worry too much about which side I score on and which side I fold on, because everything is beautiful and I'm not concerned about losing anything. So we're going to do that same thing. We're going to take our ruler and pencil and mark this out. So I'm going to start from the edge and I'm going to make a mark at 2.5. And, oh, I guess we can just do the 5 now that it looks really clear to me. 5, and then we have a quarter. So we've got 2.5, 2.5, and 1/4. So I'm going to bring the score tool over again. Trying to keep this in view for you. Okay. It's always hard. There's some days like right now that I really wish that I hadn't changed my desk up. I got rid of my L shape, and so I have not very much room to work in terms of, yeah, it's just everything feels a lot more crowded, which I'm not thrilled with, but, you know, I'll work with it. Change is good sometimes. It did open up. I always felt like I was really kind of claustrophobic in this corner because there was so much over there, and now it feels much more easy. I mean, not as closed in. So it just takes me a while to get used to things. Can't get a hold of this. And then we're going to score at that last mark, which is the 1/4 inch mark. Okay. Boom. Okay, there we go. Set that aside. And then let's go ahead and do our folding just to see where we landed. Okay, so that's going to be pretty. And then again, I hope to be able to just veg a little bit tomorrow morning and watch some YouTube and stuff. I have not been watching any YouTube. Plus, I must confess, in the United States, it's election season. So I am very much following politics currently, leading up to a very, very important election here in the United States. So I do watch a little bit more news than I normally would, and things like that. So then on this, you can decide oh, that's so pretty. Oh, they're both pretty. I don't know. Let's get that other, what did we have for the other picture? Where did you go? Right there. I think this side, because I like the blue pulling in. So we'll make this the front. So once you know that, again, you can go from there. Now, the other thing we could do is we can have one with the divot at the top and the opening and one at the bottom. So let's do that just to be different. So I will make this the top. We'll make the thumb knot, oh my goodness, the pocket down at the bottom. And so that means we're going to hinge the top So, and we need to cut it down. So let's see, I'm going to open this up so that I can get my true height here. So I'm going to cut a little bit off of the bottom. I'm just going to mark, I'm going to cheat and just use this as my guide. And if you do that, you just want to make sure you fold that out so that you're getting your true measurement. If they were not the same size, it would not be the end of the world. It would be fine. So I'm just going to make that mark there, and I'm going to turn to my cutter and trim that. There we go. Okay, so now we can do our scoring. So again, we're going to score at the top because we're scoring at the bottom. Sorry. Right? This is the bottom. So we're scoring at the top on this one, having it be opposite. So yes, I was thinking correctly. So I'm very excited because it's the weekend, and then we're only work 3 days next week, and then I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. I took Monday off for some appointments, so I have a 5-day weekend, which I really, really need. So I'm looking forward to that. I might drive to the coast, even though it'll probably be rainy, but I have not been to the coast by myself for a while, and I think it would be really good for my soul to do that. So I probably will do that one of those days. Not on Halloween though. I don't like Halloween. I stay home. So I'm going to score again. I made in the 3/8 inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and score that. Oh, that seemed like it cut. Maybe I pressed too hard. I don't think I really have to go back and forth. I'm probably overdoing that. So that is our score at the top. So it's going to go like this. So then we want this to be our hinge. So we're going to not cut that. And we're going to go ahead and turn this, and we're going to cut this section out. I was so proud of myself for doing this. I don't usually do these kinds of pockets. I just don't think of it, but they're very cool because you don't have to force things in because they've got a little bit of a gusset. Makes them a little bit larger. And then you want to cut off that little corner again. So I was patting myself on the back. I was. I don't like October at all. I really struggle with October, and I haven't been sleeping. So I'm hoping that I can catch up and get some rest this weekend too. That will help me immensely. Okay, so there we go. So I just want to make sure it's the same size. Again, if it was not, don't worry about it, but they are the same size. So this one's hinging from the top, that one's hinging from the bottom. So let's go ahead and glue this. I better probably give that a good burnish first. Helps. Okay. And then we'll move on to the smaller ones. Same process, just they're smaller. So I might speed some of that up. We're doing pretty good on time. I'm not too concerned. It's only been 23 minutes of my yapping. Yappity yapping. Okay, so just close. I don't know why that other one was crooked. I had that little overhang. I must have just not done something correctly. Okay, and so there's our hinge. It's going to go from the top. So let's go ahead and do our little thumb notch. That's the word, thumb notch. Do you ever have days like that where the words just do not come? I do, more often than I'd like it to happen. So that's going to be awesome. Okay, so let's work on the small ones now. So those were going to be these other papers. I was having trouble picking something from the kit that I could have go so that sideways and not up and down. So I think these are going to work well. So it means that I have to score, let's see what they're, well, we know they're 5 1/4, so that's fine. And we can do our scoring and then cut off to make them the size we want them to be. I think I want this section here. So, so let's just start from that side. I'm going to turn it over. I know that's probably confusing, but I'll show you in a sec. just because I'm being choosy about what part of the paper I want to use. So I'm going to go, it's the same width, just a different height on the small ones. So 2.5, and then out to 5, and then 1/4. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's because I want this section of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the scoreboard back in and score on those marks. And then I'm going to cut along that last line because I don't need that other section. So it'll go in the scrap file folder for this project. It'll get used somehow. Thinking about making some master boards. I didn't ever come back to show you guys how I do a master board. So I might do that. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Whew. Okay. Okay. So let's cut the other one while we're at it, just so that we can do that all at the same time. So this one is going to be the same way. I want my hinge up here. So I'm going to just mark. I'm going to just turn it over. I'm going to do those exact same measurements and marks. 2.5, 5, and 1/4. Sorry for the clanging. So I'm just going to cut on that line. And then we're going to score on the next one. Oh, I'm loving the scoreboard. I am loving it. It needs to find a place here to be stored because it's really, really easy to use. I just got it off of Amazon. Okay, in another season when I was struggling with how to score things. Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish these a little bit so that we can see what we've got going on here. Okay, and our little gusset, like that. Okay, so that's going to go like that. That's beautiful. And then when it flips over, oh, the butterfly will be upside down, but you know, you can't have it all, right? When you're using directional paper, you seriously cannot have it all. So you have to kind of let go of the things that aren't so important. Okay, perfect. And the cuts are all awesome. Cara-Renee, you're awesome. And I love that side so much. But I love the blue. Okay, so we can do the same with this. We're going to score, or we're going to have our pocket on one side on one and the opposite end on the other. So I think I want this one to be here. So this is where our, let me think about that. Yes, I want my, I want my opening here. In fact, let's just make a mark so I can keep this straight. I can always erase it. And then this one will be over here, okay? So that means we're going to hinge this edge, and we're going to hinge this edge. No, that was wrong. Yikesies. Let me back up, guys. Let me back up. That's not what I wanted. Because I want the hinge. Yeah, I want the hinge there. Yeah, that was right. That was right. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. So again, we're going to do 3/8 of an inch. I'm just going to slide my ruler in here and make my mark since I neglected to do that. And we're just going to make a mark, 3/8 of an inch. And we'll do the same with this one, which we want to be on the opposite side. But I am going to use the benefit of having this tea stain on one side so that I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. And let's go ahead and score. So I'm going to turn that. It's a little bit rough. Well, no, because then I get too little of an edge. When I fold this like that, then it's hard to score it. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. We have a little Down syndrome kid new to our school, and he's the sweetest thing. At circle time, he doesn't have a lot of words, but he raises his hand and he wants to share, and he he just talks with such expression, and it's just blah, 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 blah. And it's just the most precious thing on the planet. Just so sweet. And it's so fun to be able to help them have their communication, even if we don't understand what they're saying. We acknowledge that they have a voice, and it's very empowering for everyone, actually. And just really cool. Okay, so there we go. So let's go ahead and fold that down on each one. Hopefully I got them right the way I wanted them to go. Whoops. Oh, that's going to come off anyway. I just tore that. I just tore it. And why is it busting there? I must have did that really hard. That was really strange. I probably should only do one sweep through there instead of two. So this is our hinge side. So that means we want, this is our hinge side. So this one's going to go this way. So that means we can cut off that nasty corner that I just messed up. Let's do that. Okay. And then we're going to cut off this whole edge. So I'm just going to try to see how it's already split. I just did that way too hard. I know my own strength, apparently. Okay. So that's that one. And then this one, so I have to visually see this. So this one's going this way, this one's going this way. So that means this is our hinge. So we're going to cut off the back side. Right? Right? Yes. Yes. And what I did because it's just the way that I folded it, so I'm going to go at an angle right here and then go across my my line here. I'm doing it on the wrong side though. I can't see. Pardon me. I am feeling better, for those of you who have been so graciously encouraging. Every day I feel like I'm fighting something new. Like right now I feel like I have a sore throat, but I'm hoping that it's just my body doing what it's supposed to do to fight the germs. So I'm really praying that that's the case. Okay. Loving this. Okay, so then we can go ahead and fold this and glue it. Just glue our little pocket shut, and then we'll do our little thumb notches. And I've decided I've been oh, that one's not right. Look at that. Look at that. What the heck happened? Let's just trim it off. I think I've been like overwhelming myself because I do a couple prototypes because I need things for journals, and then I do 2 on camera, and then my videos are long. And so I think I'm going to try to be a little bit, if I only get, if I can do one for my sample book, and one for each journal, I'll be happy. And that's a lot more doable than making 2 for each journal and one for the sample book or the idea book. So, yeah, just in case you were curious about that. You probably were not. Oh, that's so cool. But because I didn't feel quite as overwhelmed trying to get prepared for this video as I have been in the past, recently anyway. So I don't get, when I don't feel good, I just don't have as much time to create. I just don't have the energy. And yet I have so many things I want to do. So many things I want to do. I was going to try to get a Sunday's Hour of Truth. That's not going to happen in October, which is not unusual. October is a hard month for me, so I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm going to try to do a kind of a mixed media project, like maybe pull out one of the books that we've made and do a kind of a low profile mixed media kind of project. And I also am planning, I know there's been requests to do a tutorial on how you could take a journal page like this and mix mediatize it, but have the project be different on each side. So what I would do is I'd tape this off so that this was protected. I do my mixed media work on one half, and then you wouldn't have to do anything on the other half, or you could do something completely different on the other half. So I had somebody asking about that, so I got that brewing in my mind. So that'll be a November project though, not an October project. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and ink all these things up, and I'll be right back and we'll start gluing them on. Oh, we need to do our thumb notches. Cara-Renee, let's do it. Let's do it. So again, I just sort of aim for the center and hope for the best. And I don't take a very deep divot on that. And then the same on this one. And then I'll ink these up and I'll be back and we'll continue. I'm hoping that you guys can't hear the TV. Oh man, that is all torn. Oh, I'm going to have to use a piece of washi. Oh no. Okay. So see how this split? I'm going to have to fix that before we glue it on. Anyway, my husband, obviously it's the evening. It's Friday evening. And he's watching some kind of movie out in the living room. Our house is very small and not very insulated, so the sound really travels. So I'm going to have to find something to repair that with. So I may have to get a piece of washi or something. So let me take a moment and do that so that I can fix that before I go any further. I'll be right back. Okay, I found this one. It's a little bit brighter than I would like, but I don't think it's really gonna show. So we're just gonna repair that edge. I need to only score once, so boom, done. So I was going overboard, and I forgot to mention, many of you know who watch my videos, I use 65-pound paper, so it's pretty durable and pretty thick, but apparently it's still too hard on it. So I need to kind of measure this out. So I'm just going to set this down here so I can get an idea of how wide I need it to be. Okay. I'm going to hopefully just stick this in that space. Is it too big? I can't tell. Ugh. I need to trim it a little bit. Doesn't have to be the same width as it. So there we go. There's always a way to fix things, guys. You don't have to feel like you have to throw something in the trash. So the tricky part is going to be to get it in here. Okay. And not stick it to myself and anything else. Just going to plop that in there and just give that a good press, and that's going to save that, but I need to ink that up again. Bummer. Things happen though, don't they? So here is our journal page, and I am going to ink up around her just on the front of this because I want to make sure that I get ink everywhere that I might not be able to get to later. There we go. Probably, yeah, should be just like that, should be fine. Okay, so we know that this one's going to go from the top to the bottom, so we're going to go ahead and just get these lined up where we want them to be approximately. This one I found needs to go pretty close to that fold, and then this one's going to go here. Oh, so pretty. Let's do this one first. I'm just going to use my white glue. Again, don't have to move it a lot. It's pretty easy to line it up and get it where you want it. Not as difficult as other projects. I am going to turn the page here and just slide that in there like so, and give that a, oh goodness gracious, you got to get it in there. Ah! Get it in there, Cara-Renee, and then press it. press it down. There we go. Okay, and then I like to open this back up just to make sure that nothing is awry. Okay, so that's our first one, and then this one's going to go from the top down. So we're going to go ahead and put that glue right there. That washi's going to be fine. It's not even going to show. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to get it to as close to the outside edge as possible without causing a problem. There we go. Look at that. I love it, and I love that they're opposite on this one. I love it. I don't know why I didn't do that on the other one, because that's still kind of the way I planned it. And then, as I mentioned, we want to have this one go not on the back of this previous flap or envelope, but onto the page. Okay? So where do we want it? Like about there. We can kind of hide our people there. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm not measuring or anything. I'm just eye-spying wherever I feel like it looks good. So you can kind of showcase that before you glue it. Get an idea of what you want. We probably should showcase this one too and see if we want that one there. Uh-oh. Oh, that's the other side. This way. Oh, that's so pretty right there. Perfect choice. Okay. So again, we're going to do this. And the reason why I decided to put it on the inside of the page instead, I'll show you here in a second, is because if I don't want to see that, I can put something over it. See? So now everything's on the inside of the journal page instead of on the back of the pockets where I can't really do as much to disguise it. So I'm feeling better about that. Now, I meant to mention this earlier, but if you don't like this to pop up, and it might pop up more once we get stuff in the envelopes, one could put a little piece of Velcro and just put a spot of Velcro right there. Okay? Totally up to you. I will judge that when I get there, but for now, we're just going to be happy with it. So this is our last piece. I will, again, decorate this a little bit. There's not a lot that needs to be done because it's beautiful. And then I will put that in the pictures at the end of the video, and you can, so you guys can see it. Now I'm going to try to position the height here. I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to make it about the same above this. So that's kind of what I'm thinking when I'm placing the second one. So again, perfection. Oh, not there, not there. Oh, around the journal page. Now I need more glue. This other side is a little harder because you're going around the fold of your journal page, and I need to put a piece of parchment there before that sticks. So let me grab a piece really quick. Sorry for the flipping and flopping. I don't want that to get all stuck. Okay, so this, now I got to get that out of the way, is going to go around the whole journal page. Okay, like that, which means I can't really see that. So let me move that up a little bit for a memento. And we're just going to place this on here about there. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to call it good. Give that a press. Okay, I'm just going to take this out just so you can see. And that's what we have. Is that absolutely, if I do say so myself, I'm having such a good time making these journal page ideas, because I mentioned, I think, in my Crush Your Trash that when I'm at work and I'm just sitting there, you know, waiting for my little guy to drink his milk, or, you know, or I'm on my break, or other things, or I'm out at recess and I'm just watching them play, I have a lot of time to kind of think and dream. And I've found myself kind of thinking about these things and dreaming about these things. So it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to stick this back under there so we don't have any stickage where we don't want it. So thank you guys for, oh, you know what? You could also do this. Boom. That's kind of cool too. Maybe we want to do this opposite like this. And then we don't lose our people. That's what we're going to do right there. Yes. Yes. I'm going to stick that in there though so that I don't get any glue from the back of this one that I accidentally glued. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Blessings, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.